In the dim glow of a crowded country club bar, where the air was thick with the scent of aged whiskey and cigar smoke, a group of privileged men lounged around a polished oak table. Their laughter echoed like thunder, born from the kind of entitlement that comes with fortunes handed down through generations. At the center was Daniel Crawford, 32, his sharp features framed by a perfectly tailored suit, his smile a calculated blade honed from years of boardroom conquest and superficial conquest alike. That fateful night, as glasses clinked and egos swelled, one of them flung out a dare that sliced the haze. "I bet you couldn't marry her. 6 months, tops. Keep a straight face the whole time. Prove you can stomach it." The her in question was Leela, a quiet, plus-size waitress hidden away in the club's steamy kitchen, her existence barely registering in their world, except as fodder for cruel whispers, poor overweight, utterly invisible. But Daniel, buoyed by the intoxicating rush of alcohol and peer pressure, leaned back with a predatory grin. "You're on," he declared, his heart pounding not with doubt, but with the thrill of the game. Little did he know, this wager would unravel the very fabric of his soul. Before we dive deeper into this tale of redemption and heartache, if you cherish stories that celebrate kindness, second chances, and the hidden depths within us all, please pause to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support fuels our mission to share these raw, emotional journeys that touch the heart. Daniel knew next to nothing about Leela when he first sauntered into her world. She lived in a cramped studio apartment perched above a noisy laundromat in the city's forgotten fringes, where the walls vibrated with the hum of machines and the faint smell of detergent lingered like a constant reminder of survival. Her clothes were threadbare, her shoes scuffed from endless shifts, but her eyes, oh, those eyes held a quiet fire, a resilient glow forged in a crucible of loss and hardship. At first, she regarded his advances with wary disbelief, her heart guarded by years of being overlooked. Men like him, with their polished exteriors and effortless charm, didn't court women like her. Yet Daniel persisted, his persistence a mask for the bet, until she relented for a simple coffee date, her pulse quickening with a mix of hope and skepticism. In those early weeks, Daniel treated their time together like a performance, donning the role of the doting suitor with practiced ease. He nodded at her words, flashed smiles calibrated to disarm, all while inwardly tallying points for the wager. Back with his friends, he'd recount the details with mocking glee, their laughter a balm to his ego. But beneath the facade, subtle shifts began to stir. Leela's stories poured out like gentle rain. Tales of raising her younger siblings after their mother's sudden death, the bone-deep exhaustion of juggling 2 jobs through high school just to keep the electricity flowing, and her weekend spent volunteering at the local shelter, driven by an unyielding belief that no one deserved to feel abandoned. There was no trace of resentment in her voice, only a profound strength that made Daniel's chest tighten inexplicably. He dismissed it as fleeting curiosity, a temporary distraction from his gilded boredom. Then came the stormy Thursday that cracked open his world. Rain lashed against the windows as Daniel drove Leela home after her grueling shift, the wipers slashing rhythmically like a heartbeat. Her building was plunged into darkness from a power outage, and in the flickering emergency lights of the hallway, he spotted a hand-drawn calendar tacked to the peeling wall. It brimmed with colorful notes, reminders for neighbors' doctor's appointments, food pantry schedules, and cheerful birthday messages sketched in vibrant markers. It wasn't for her own use. Leela had crafted it for the building's elderly residents, ensuring they never felt lost in the chaos of daily life. No one had prompted her. No reward awaited. It was pure, unadulterated care. That night, sleep evaded Daniel as he tossed in his luxurious bed, haunted by the image of Leela's soft smile as she handed a steaming meal to Mrs. Grant, the nearly blind widow in 3B, her touch gentle and reassuring. He replayed how she'd effortlessly helped the weary young mother haul groceries up the stairs, her laughter light despite the downpour. She hadn't known he was watching. There was no audience for her kindness. It was simply who she was. A deep ache bloomed in his chest, a foreign vulnerability that clashed with his armored life. As weeks melted into months, the cracks in Daniel's defenses widened into chasms. He distanced himself from his mocking friends, their gatherings now tasting bitter. He ceased deceitful updates, instead losing himself in Leela's presence. Her words resonated in his soul. He felt seen, stripped of his wealth and status, value for the man buried beneath. She didn't crave his opulence or validation. She pierced through the veneer, gazing at him with honesty that both soothed and terrified. Yet the bet hung over him like a guillotine, its secret weight poisoning every tender moment. Guilt gnawed at him relentlessly, twisting each shared laugh, each brush of hands, into a dagger of self-loathing. The shattering climax arrived on the evening of his proposal. He'd orchestrated it as the bet's triumphant finale, an opulent dinner in a candlelit private room, a flawless diamond ring glinting like a trophy. But as Leela entered in her modest blue dress, her shy smile radiating genuine warmth, Daniel's world tilted. His heart hammered with raw terror. This was no longer a charade. He loved her fiercely, profoundly, in a way that exposed every hollow part of him. Their wedding unfolded in a quaint church, enveloped by Leela's devoted neighbors and sparse family, their joy palpable in the air. Daniel's friends lurked in the rear, their smirks like venom, anticipating the punchline. But Daniel was deaf to them, his ears filled only with Leela's vows, promises of unwavering support through sickness and health, riches and poverty, each word laced with sincerity that pierced the soul. She meant it all, and in that instant his love eclipsed the lie. Tragedy struck 2 months later at a glittering charity gala. One of Daniel's friends, loosened by liquor, blurted the bet's origins to a prying reporter. The scandal erupted like wildfire. Headlines branded him a callous tycoon who toyed with an innocent woman's heart. Paparazzi swarmed their home. Venomous comments flooded online, and the world turned against him. Leela's reaction was a quiet devastation. No explosive rage, no shattered vases. She simply packed a lone bag, her movements deliberate and heavy with unspoken pain, and vanished into the night. Daniel found her at the shelter, on her knees scrubbing floors. Her once bright eyes now shadowed fortresses of hurt. He pleaded desperately, his voice cracking with remorse, explaining how the bet had dissolved into ashes long before proposal, how his love was now an unshakable truth. But Leela's response cut deep. Love built on lies isn't love at all, her words trembling with the weight of betrayal, leaving him hollowed out. In the agonizing weeks that followed, Daniel threw himself into redemption. He poured donations into the shelter, not for show, but from a place of genuine humility. He volunteered tirelessly, his hands blistering from unaccustomed labor. He abandoned his penthouse for her old neighborhood, mending fences and running errands for her friends, each act a silent apology. Yet it was the anonymous payment for Mrs. Grant's sight-saving surgery, done without fanfare, without expectation, that began to melt Leela's resolve. It echoed her own selfless spirit, proving his transformation was real, not performative. Gradually, tentatively, she allowed him back, first into conversations laced with caution, then into shared moments that rekindled the spark. Over time, trust rebuilt like a fragile bridge, and love bloomed anew, stronger for the scars. Years later, as they renewed their vows in that same humble church, Daniel gazed at her through tear-blurred eyes and whispered, "The bet was the darkest mistake of my existence, but choosing to love you, truly holy, was my salvation." In that sacred space, surrounded by those who had witnessed their journey, the air hummed with triumph. They had defied the odds, turning cruelty into compassion. If this story stirred something deep within you, tears, hope, reflection, please share, comment, and subscribe at Kindness Corner. Your engagement empowers us to continue crafting these poignant narratives that illuminate the transformative power of empathy and redemption. And before we part, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing what you believe is the truest sign of real love.